Hello everybody, welcome to Enchanted Evening episode 6. My name is Kayla and okay, so we are going to be talking about not only one of my favorite Disney movies, but this movie is my second favorite movie of all time. We are going to be talking about Disney's 1994 The Lion King. And yes, I have to say 1994 because Disney re-released this movie in 2019 as a live action movie, but we are not here to discuss that today. We are here to discuss the movie that was released on June 24th in 1999. It runs for 1 hour and 31 minutes and is directed by Rob Minkoff and Roger Allens. So as always, to get this movie started off, or episode, originally this movie was going to be called King of the Jungle. The wildebeest stampede took 3 years to complete. The Lion King was the first Disney movie to feature its original storyline. It is the highest grossing hand-drawn movie of all time. And Disney's most important animators chose to actually work on Pocahontas, which I thought this was super cool information to find out. Yes, Pocahontas to me is an amazing movie. I think the A-listers, let's call them, did an incredible job. But the B-listers that created The Lion King also did an amazing job and work on this movie. So never think that if you're called a B-lister or, my second choice is going to do this, that they're not going to do a good job, because obviously in this scenario, that is not true. Embarked on an extraordinary coming-of-age adventure as Simba, a lion cub who cannot wait to be king, searches for his destiny in the great circle of life. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This Disney opener is the best Disney opener that Disney has absolutely, in my opinion, has ever done and possibly will ever do. The Circle of Life is one of those songs that it just, it's so emotional. It's just, it pulls at your heartstrings. It just draws you into the story like absolutely no other. Not only does the song take your breath away, but the animators do such an incredible job at pulling the whole storyline together. You have, birds in the very beginning, and there's beautiful waterfalls that are drawn out, and then you see all the animals come together in this wonderful music masterpiece. Honestly, I could probably talk about the beginning of this movie for 20 minutes, but I will not do that to you. All you have to know is that I think that the opener of this movie is A+, and honestly, if I was to go see this movie and for the very first time in theaters, and I saw the opener, I'd be like, well, shoot, that was money well given out to Disney, because I just feel that this beginning of this movie is absolutely amazing. And I want to know, so this movie came out in 1994. I was 3 when this movie came out. I would love to know what adults thought about this movie when they first saw it in theaters. Did it capture their hearts? What were they thinking? Because watching this movie as a child and then watching it as an adult, it just means so much more to me. So I almost feel like a lot of times Disney movies are more for the adults than they are for children, especially these older classics that we love. So that's just something to kind of think about. So anyways, the opener of this movie to me is A+. I absolutely love it, and it totally draws you right into the story. Okay, so then we are introduced to the villain of this movie, which is Scar. Scar is personally my absolutely favorite Disney villain of all time, and I think it's because he is so evil. All of Scar's plots, all of Scar's plans are against his family. His family, okay? he's just an evil character. He's only looking out for himself. But because of that, that is why I truly love Scar so much. So you see Scar and then you see Mufasa, and you can definitely tell that they have a brother rivalry together. I know I said that weird. I apologize. I'm not very well speaking English. But they definitely don't have a huge good brother relationship like how we discussed previously in Onward. But I love seeing that they don't totally see eye to eye, because I feel like a lot of siblings can relate to this. Now, fortunately, I don't have that with my siblings. We are best friends. We totally, coexist with each other and just, for the most part, agree on things. But these brothers don't. And I feel like a lot of siblings can almost relate to this story because they don't relate at all. So I really love this part. There's one moment when Scar believes that he is greater than Mufasa in the fact that he is more smart, but he's not physically as smart as Mufasa. I shouldn't really say physically as smart, but Scar knows that he's smart, but he knows that if you came to like a physical battle, he knew that he would not win against Mufasa. I don't know if any of you are big like Survivor fans out there or Big Brother fans, but I feel like if Scar was in Survivor or Big Brother, he would definitely win when it comes to the social aspect, and then Mufasa would win when it came to more of the physical aspect. And I think that's kind of what Scar is sort of talking about at this point. Okay, so then we have little Simba, and he was so excited about this day. He's up early, his parents are sleeping, and he's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I thought you were going to show me this and this and this. And I think it's really cute. I think that parents that have, tiny children can relate to this moment. Again, I don't have kids, so unfortunately I can't relate to this, but I know that kids get up really early and they want their parents to start doing activities with them in the day, and that's totally Simba. And he gets Mufasa up, and Mufasa kind of shows him the lay of the land. Mufasa kind of gets deep with his son at the very beginning. He shows Simba all the land on which they have power to, and he says one day this will all be yours, except that little gray area that the sun doesn't quite hit. This is a heavy moment for a child such as such as Simba to kind of comprehend. And he talks about the great circle of life, that how, okay, we may eat the antelope to survive, but then when we pass away, our bodies become the soil and the ground and the grass in which the antelopes themselves then eat, which means it is all a circle of life. This is a heavy message, I believe, to lay onto a child, though I think it's a very good message for everybody to hear. This movie has so many meanings and so many messages that it's just absolutely incredible, and I think that's why it's honestly number one in my book when it comes to Disney movies. And I wrote here that this movie is all about death, and honestly it kind of is, but it's good. It's good for children, in my opinion, to know about death and to know about these serious situations that happen, and not to have them hide, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So I really do like seeing this. And it is heavy stuff. This movie is heavy for a child to hear, but it's also very important for a child and honestly for adults to hear. It truly honestly is. So to a little bit lighter message in my story, I want to say how funny I think Zazu is. He doesn't mean to be funny, but he's just so like to the books and to the rules that just kind of make his character glow and shine, and I absolutely love Zazu. So Simba is with Scar in this next scene, and Simba is joking with him, having a good time. So honestly, we can tell that Simba trusts his uncle. But of course his uncle really hates him and doesn't really care about Simba. And he wants to put Simba in danger, and he talks to him about an elephant graveyard. So then when Simba goes to his friend Nala, and he wants to take Nala to this elephant graveyard that his uncle discussed that was so cool for him to go to. I love this part because it kind of reminds me when Nala and Simba are talking to their parents, trying to trick them as to like, oh no, we're just going to the water hole. It's almost like, you know how when you're a kid, or maybe not so much a kid, but like as a teenager, and you kind of want to trick your parent like, oh, we're gonna do this, but then you do something completely different. So I think any child or teen can almost relate to what Simba and Nala are trying to do with their parents. I think that's really cute to relate to. And then you have, so I just can't wait to be king, of Simba. And he's going and he's talking about how he cannot wait to be king, and he's super excited about it. Of course, I don't think at this moment Simba realizes that in order for him to be king, he has to lose his father. Because I think if Simba knew that, he definitely would not be as excited about this notion. And then of course we have the hyenas that come in once Nala and Simba enter the elephant graveyard. And they are so funny, the hyenas. They're evil, but yet they're funny because they say all these like little evil jokes like, I don't know, cub sandwich, and I'll have whatever's lying around. And I really truly love that about the hyenas. Though there was a fun fact I guess I want to add into this, that Disney almost got sued for the portrayal of hyenas, because apparently, according to animal zoologists or researchers, I don't even know what I'm saying, but that hyenas are actually very intelligent animals, and they are portrayed as super evil in this movie, and that hyenas aren't necessarily quite like that. So poorly hyenas got a bad rap in this Disney movie, but this is how the animators and creators wanted to portray them. So at this point, the hyenas are hunting down Simba and Nala, almost in a jokingly manner, but it's still scaring the daylights of the two cub lions. And Mufasa comes in to save his son. And within the scene, you can honestly see the pure hate in Scar's eyes, which is scary as heck. But I think more so than scary, it's also very sad that his brother hates him so much and hates his son so much that he just has such disgust within himself. Okay, so then we get to a point where Mufasa and Simba have like one of those father and son talks, and Simba thinks he is in trouble, and this part is so cute when Mufasa says that he wants to have a moment with his son Simba. Simba kind of like ducks into the ground like, I don't want to have this discussion with him. But this shows you that Mufasa is a number one parent, because he has a discussion with his son that he doesn't make his son feel ashamed, or he doesn't make his son feel embarrassed. He teaches him a life lesson. And then they have a really good bonding moment, kind of, you know, what this whole scene in this picture that I painted creates. And I love the relationship between father and son Mufasa. Mufasa is just very good on how he raises Simba and how he teaches Simba these life lessons. So then we get into Scar, and okay, Scar's lair, I'm gonna call it. Be prepared. Be prepared. I can't even talk. Be prepared. This to me is the best villain song ever. It makes you want to almost, dare I say it, but root for Scar? I don't know, you guys. Scar is so evil, and I love Scar because he is so evil, but this song almost makes you want to root for him. It very much draws you into Scar's storyline. I absolutely love this movie. or this song, this movie, but yes, the song, and I love Be Prepared. Be prepared for a chance of a lifetime. Be prepared for sensational news. A shiny new era is stepping nearer. Like, I could honestly just like sing this whole song. So I'm feeling villainous one day. I'm so jumping into Scar's pause. Let's just say it. In this song, you learn about his evil plan of wanting to kill father and son, killing Mufasa and Simba, which is absolutely horrible. Okay, so after the song, we come to the worst part of the movie, and that is the whole stampede moment of the movie when Mufasa is unfortunately killed. I think the hardest part about this scene and to watch this scene is the fact that a brother could do this to another brother. The betrayal within Scar, it simply shows that Scar has no love in his heart and that he only thinks and cares for himself. When Scar is holding Mufasa up, okay, for him not to fall into the stampede of wildebeest. And they look at each other in the eyes. And Mufasa is basically begging Scar to save him. And Scar doesn't. He lets him fall. To let a sibling die like that by your hands is honestly one of the worst betrayals ever. And there's so much I want to say about this scene. First off, Scar allows Simba to believe that it was Simba's fault that Mufasa has died, which is horrible. Imagine what this did to a child's mind. Not only did this child have to deal with the fact that he has lost a parent, but then this child now believes that it is his fault, that his father is dead. So that's one thing. Again, another thing, like I said, is the betrayal of a brother. I wonder if the animators and the creators have a hard time making this scene, if that kind of pulled on their heartstrings too. I'm hoping that the answer is yes. I don't know. I've cried every time I've watched this scene. And I think, like, as a child you watch this scene and you cry because of the loss of a parent. As an adult, being so close to my siblings, if one of them would betray me in that sense, which I know would never happen, I hope, it would be very difficult to accept. So there's a lot of emotion that comes to this scene, and it's very real. And again, as I said at the beginning of the movie, how did different, adults react to this movie? I wonder what they felt when they saw this scene that Disney actually killed off an main character. I know I discussed in my last episode how I felt like Brave at the beginning was kind of Game of Thrones-ish, just by like the scenery. This storyline is Game of Thrones-ish to me. Whew, that's like heavy on my heart. But with that being said, after we go through this devastating moment of the story, we get to a really fun part of the movie. And Disney was so smart to introduce these two characters to us. And so now we get to talk about and discuss about Timon and Pumbaa, who are so wonderful. Timon and Pumbaa are the true definitions of comic relief. I absolutely love those characters. And they basically take Simba and they adopt him into their livelihood. And they are just totally wonderful. However, I love that Timon acts like he is the smart one of the pair, but really it's Pumbaa, because every time Pumbaa said something, Timon goes, "Oh, no, 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 no." But then he literally says exactly what Pumbaa just said, but he kind of like twists his words. So the two characters are so smart and so clever together, and such a great comic relief that I absolutely love seeing. And I also love in this part of the movie that you get to see a different part of Africa, because I know when most people think of Africa, they think about like this, safari and the dry lands, the sand, but Africa has so much to offer. They have rainforest and everything, and you get to experience that part of Africa with Timon and Pumbaa, and I think that is so cool. And of course they sing Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. I absolutely love that. It means no worries for the rest of your days. And I think it is so cute that they, they bring their motto and they live by it. They're kind of just like, we're going to live cool and free. And I absolutely love it. And I truly love in this song that you see baby Simba, and then you see teen Simba, and then you get to see adult Simba. And one thing I do want to say is I absolutely love adult Simba. Matthew Broderick, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. I love his singing voice, and I love the fact that he played adult Simba in this. I just think he brings so much to the table. So I really love this whole part of the story. It just kind of takes that from that seriousness of Mufasa's death, and it brings a whole different light to the story that I absolutely love. Unfortunately, then we get a glimpse of when Scar is leading Pride Rock, like it's called, because everybody believes that Mufasa and Simba are dead. So that would mean that Scar is going to be king of Pride Rock. Things are going so well. They don't have food. Everything is dry. It's like their land is in a drought, and it's just not going so well. I do love, though, that Scar has Zazu in his own little cage, and Zazu singing "It's a Small World" kind of brings little classic Disney into this movie, which I think is really cute and really clever, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so moving on. We're back with Simba, Pumbaa, and Timon, and they are talking about stars. They are kind of like laying on their backs, and they're looking up in the sky, and they see all these different stars, and talking about what they think these stars mean to them. Timon says that he believes that the stars in the sky are beautiful fireflies. Pumbaa says that he thinks that the stars are big balls of gas, which is true. Again, Pumbaa is actually the smarter out of the two. But then, Timon goes, "Well, you think everything is gas." Anyways, and then Simba says that the stars is the great kings watching over them, which is very sweet. Okay, and then we get to Rafiki the monkey. And I know I haven't mentioned him yet, but he is a big part of the story, who is in the story at the very beginning. So we do have Rafiki the monkey. He is kind of, the knowledge of all, and he realizes that Simba is alive, and this is such a great thing. So Rafiki goes out and he tries to go find Simba. Okay, so then we have Pumbaa, and he is about to be Nala's dinner. So Simba is now a grown adult, which means that Nala is a grown adult lioness, and she is out for the hunt because there is no food to be found in Pride Rock. Simba and Nala begin to fight because Simba, of course, does not want his friend Pumbaa to be dinner. And then Simba and Nala realize who one another is. And of course, this is a huge friendship that is found after many, many years of being lost. Okay. Can you feel the love tonight? one of the most beautiful love songs absolutely ever written. And when you watch this scene of the story, the only thing you can think of is, wow, I wish or not even wish, but I hope one day I can have a love as strong as these two lions of Simba and Nala, because their love is so strong, and it is the most beautiful thing to see happen. And like I said, with this movie having so many different, complexities of, again, the circle of life, a loss of a parent, a coming out story with Simba accepting who he is, which we will get in a few minutes. But then you also have such a great love story. This movie is all around quite amazing. But this scene of, Simba and Nala realizing how much they love each other, again, is another pull on your heartstring moment. And you hope that one day you have a love as strong as these lions. Nala explains to Simba that, he has responsibilities of having to come back into Pride Rock and save his family. We all have responsibilities. They may not be something that we want to do or that we like to do, but unfortunately, if you are born on this planet, okay, you have responsibilities. And this message right here just shows you that you have to accept those, and to become full circle within yourself, you have to embark and embrace the responsibilities that is given to you. And that is exactly what Simba has to face. He has to come with the fact that he is the prince, but now that his father has passed away, he is now the king. So it is his responsibility to go to Pride Rock and lead his people. Whether if he likes it or not, it's just what it is. So, of course, this is another lesson that this movie provides for us. Unfortunately, after all these years of living with Timon and Pumbaa, Simba still has this weight on his heart that he feels guilty that he killed his father. Granted, we know that Simba is not the reason why Mufasa died, but of course that is not what Simba feels. So he's living with such a heavy heart. Rafiki follows Simba, and he tells him that he knows where Mufasa is. That he realizes that he is Mufasa's boy. Rafiki makes Simba follow him, and then he has him kind of look down into this pond, and as Simba's looking at his own reflection, he realizes that his father lives within him. So again, another life lesson. The lessons that our parents teach us live within us, and it is up to us to keep their spirits alive by honoring them through our actions that we create within ourselves and within our lives. So this is something that Mufasa has to learn. This is such a heavy lesson, okay? Our parents work so hard to embark and embrace everything that they have learned and to give us their knowledge. So the only way that we can honor them is to teach their lessons to others. If that's to our friends, if that's to our future children, that's how they live within us. So it is such a beautiful moment to see Simba realizing that he can have his father's spirit live on if he accepts his responsibility as king of Pride Rock. Change is good, but is not always easy. Again, another huge life lesson for us to learn. And I honestly think that the biggest lesson in this movie is something that Rafiki shows Simba, is that the past can hurt. Yes. You can run from it or you can learn from it. But no matter what, the past is behind us. this kind of gives everybody a second chance if you want to think about it. We all go through things in our lives that hurt our hearts, that change us as people. Okay, let's be real here for a second. So much hurt can happen to us, but you can either take that hurt and, kind of live by that hurt, or you can realize that it is in the past. That hurt is in the past. So let's move forward from it. Yes, it is going to hurt, and it's always going to hurt. The dreams that I've had for myself that did not happen or will never happen is always going to hurt. I am always going to grieve with those dreams that I have never been able to fulfill, and that's something that I will never be able to fulfill. But that doesn't mean that will not make me grow as a person and I can't move on with my life. So this is probably the biggest lesson in this whole movie is the past can hurt, but you can run from it or you can learn from it. But again, it is behind us. So I absolutely love this message. Simba takes a leap of faith and he decides to go to Pride Rock. I love the scene that the animators created for us when Simba is going back to Pride Rock to save his family and friends. Seeing him accept who he is and run back home is absolutely so incredible. It's beautiful and I love it. Of course, it's very sad when Simba does get home and he sees the kind of mess that he left his family and friends. His home's not the same. Again, like I said before, it's in ruins. Scar has not done a very good job at King, and they're in famine. The plants are dry. Everything is kind of dying off. It's not a really good place. And Simba probably does feel the guilt within this. Okay. So not only does Simba return to Pride Rock, but of course he brings Nala with him because it's Nala's home. And he brings Timon and Pumbaa because they really don't have anywhere else to go. And I love this part when Timon's like, what are you going to want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula? It's so funny. I love Timon. And then he actually does it. And it's incredible and it's so funny. And I'm so happy that they kept it within the movie. Oh, I love Timon and Pumbaa. They're such a good comic relief with such a heavy storyline. Of course, when Simba shows himself to his family, Scar is surprised to see Simba alive. Scar does seem nervous to see his nephew alive. And, Scar did say that he is better with smartness than physicality. I don't even think that's a word, but I'm going to use it. Scar tries to get into Simba's head, saying that you are responsible for Mufasa's death. You should feel guilty. You should feel bad. It is like the one last evil act that Scar is trying to push to Simba. It is evil, 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 and I absolutely love it. I love the evil. So there's a moment when Simba and Scar are fighting and Simba is about to fall off the cliff and Scar admits that he is the one that murdered Mufasa, and he goes, I killed Mufasa. And I don't know if this rush of knowledge just gives Simba all the strength to jump up, and he is both on the cliff, and there is an all breakout battle between Simba and Scar and the hyenas and the lions, and there is a battle between both good and evil, and it is epic, and it's absolutely something I love to see happen. Okay, so Scar is a coward, like I said, when it comes to physical fighting. His very last attempt is to blame the hyenas. He says it's all their fault. They made me do this and they made me do that. And Simba actually gives Scar a chance. He says, run away and never return. So Scar would have just killed Simba, but since Simba's not as evil as Scar, Simba tries to give his uncle a chance to live, even after he knows that Scar is the one that killed Mufasa and that he lived with that guilt for his whole life. So it's something I feel like more than what I could do, because I don't even know if I could relate to what Simba is giving his uncle this opportunity. But of course, Scar is so evil that he cheats. He like pushes a fire soot into Simba's eyes, and once again, both Simba and Scar have this epic battle that they are fighting with each other, and it is totally amazing to watch. And I always thought watching this scene, could you imagine being in Africa and seeing two lions actually fighting like this within each other? It would be both terrifying and amazing to witness at the same time. But of course, you know, Simba is stronger physically than Scar, so Simba pushes his uncle off a cliff, but it's not super high, so he's still alive. But since Scar betrayed the hyenas, it's almost poetic that the hyenas then take over Scar. So that would be the end of him. Okay, so after this major battle scene, there's huge rainfall that falls all over Pride Rock. And to me, this rainfall symbolizes washing away the past and starting fresh. So I do think that this rain does absolutely mean something and tie the story together. You guys, this movie is so beautiful. I kind of want to go watch it again. I feel like I should watch this movie once a week just so I can live my week without losing it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyways, Simba becomes king and the kingdom is once again growing strong. And at the very end of this movie, Simba has a child that, you know, he has with Nala, and this just completes the great circle of life. This movie, in my opinion, after we kind of went through the whole thing, like I said, is number one. It is an A+ movie. I absolutely love this movie. Circle of life. The movie comes full circle. I think that if you are doubting things that have happened in your past, I think you need to watch this. I think you need to watch this movie if you are having some issues maybe with your siblings. I don't know if maybe this might, you know, make you want to fight them, which I do not suggest. But I think if you are having an issue with your sibling and you want to understand where they're coming from, I think this would be a good place to watch. If you have just lost a parent or someone who's close to you, I believe this movie is good to watch. Again, like I've said in this movie, there's so many things that happen, good, bad, in our past that you have to move forward to grow as a person. This movie kind of summarizes life in a nutshell. This 1 hour and 31-minute movie. So I would say Disney's The Lion King is probably the best Disney movie, in my opinion, that was ever made. Everybody, thank you so much for watching Enchanted Evening episode 6. My name is Kayla, and I cannot wait for you all to watch Disney The Lion King and of course watch my next video. I hope you all have such a great night. See you real soon. Bye everybody.